Okay, we got a 2000 Saturn SL2. We're going to be changing the transmission fluid here today. Let me go ahead and show you what I've got. Okay, so you're going to need to get yourself some transmission fluid, whatever you prefer to use, using Dexmerk. And if you flip it over on the back, it'll tell you that it's made for use with the Dextron 3. And you're going to need to get yourself a filter. Now it does have another filter in the transmission, but it's not accessible without a rebuild, so we don't need to worry about that. And of course, first thing, you're going to want to get it up on ramps here. Okay, so this is all the tools I'm going to be using. I'm just got an extended handle ratchet. We got a 15mm, something to remove the filter. We got a trim tool. And we got a magnet here, and the small little ratchet there is an 8mm, and then we got a 10mm on the extended one there. Always a good idea to chalk your wheels, your rear tires there when you're under the car. Right, so I'm going to crawl under here and locate your exhaust. And then you'll just look right over there and find your plug. Okay, now this plug has a little rubber seal on it, so you don't have to worry about this thing sealing. And you don't want to get it just terribly tight. I think these usually only call for like 20 to 25 foot-pounds or so. So you don't want to just get carried away with it and strip your threads out. It's aluminum. That's good enough. Alright, so I'm going to get you a container and pour this up, and we'll find out exactly how much we got in here. Okay, so I was figuring on this having 4 quarts. I may have to get another quart. This actually has, if you can see the fill line there, it's actually got over 5 quarts that I drained out. So it may not have been filled exactly right, but we'll check it. We'll put back 4 quarts and check it out. We may have to put another quart in to get it just right. Okay, so we've got our hood up. We're going to need to remove a few things to be able to get to this filter here. So first thing, we're going to be taking this whole entire air duct out of here. So we're going to get to work on that. Okay, so down here where it attaches to the throttle housing, we're going to take our 8mm, and you could use a flat as long as it's not too long. Okay, with that loose, now if you don't have a cap, it might be advisable to put something over your positive bolt there so you're not grounding that out while you're messing with this. Before we remove that bottom piece, we need to get this here out of the way. We got this push pin. Okay, now this just kind of wiggles out of there, pulls out of that box. See, that end just slips into that box. Okay, now we got these 3 10 millimeters. We'll go ahead and get those. And we just got our extension, 10 millimeter. Okay, I guess that one's stuck. Pull that hose over a little bit. And once we get it up here, we're going to squeeze. See, here's the part the other air piece goes into. So when it's setting in there, that's just sliding in there. It's kind of under that hose, though you can't really see it. It just slides in there and sets like that. Make sure you got your pan positioned where underneath the filter there, so anything that drains out of there will go down in your pan. Okay, so we just need the appropriate sized tool to fit this. If this wire is in the way here, just kind of push it up here a little bit. And perfect. Oh, this is really tight. It's moving, but really slowly. And this is an actual Saturn transmission filter, so I don't know if this has ever been changed or not. Alright, we got it moving now. And we'll just let this drip and make a good mess for a second. Okay, and we'll go in here with a rag and make sure that we clean this off before we get our new one on. Okay, we want to make sure that we put some clean fluid on the end of this seal before we put that up in there. And it's a good idea to do a comparison before we put it under there, and it looks like it's a match, the same size, the seal's the same, so it should be good. Okay, and we shouldn't need any tool to tighten it. We're just going to kind of hand tighten it back on here. If you're not able to snug it up by hand, I would suggest like one of those strap wrenches, or get a one of those plastic or metal tools that would fit on the end of this. So it's got a little bit of some flats on there that you could get a tool on, but I'm just going to get it good and tight by hand here, and it'll be fine. Of course, we'll check it and make sure we don't have any leaks. Let's get it just as tight as you can get it by hand. Okay, so that's as tight as I can get it by hand. We're going to go ahead and start putting everything back together here. Actually, before we do that, we're just going to go ahead and start filling it, because it'll be easier with everything out of our way here. Just go ahead and do that first. Okay, we're going to slowly start getting this in here. Now, I did have to get another jug because I'm not sure just how much I'm going to need, but I know I drained out a little over 5 quarts, so we'll put 4 quarts in, and then we'll probably run it and check it out a little bit, see where the level's at. And you got to pour this in kind of slowly. It does kind of back up, get some air pockets. But we've almost got this whole jug here, so we'll have 4 quarts in here, and that's good enough for now. We're going to check for leaks, get everything put back together. Just rotate that till it lines up there. Just pull this hose back over. Alright, we'll get our screws back in. Just getting it loosely in place till we get them all in. Okay, so we'll just finish snugging these up. Okay, so we got it cranked up. We're just coming under here and checking for leaks. Other than what drip, we don't have any leaks going on. No leaks at our filter. So we're going to run it through some gears here, get it up, drive it around about 10-15 minutes, and we'll see where the level's at. We're also going to get it off these ramps and get it level here. Okay, so I've been driving this around about 15 minutes. I've got it warmed up really good, and went and checked it here. Of course, you gotta, and we are down here at the add mark. So I'm gonna put another quart, maybe, or a half a quart. I don't want to get carried away. You see, when it's full hot, if I can focus here, it's going to be right up here. So we don't want to go past that mark right there. So we may, it's like down here below this, so we may like add about a half quart at a time, see what we got here. Now you do have to use a longer funnel when you have that air intake on there. Okay, so 5 quarts seems to be just about right. I have been driving it around a little bit more. Like I said, I put another quart in there, so I got 5 quarts altogether for now. Of course, I want to continue to check this over the next few days, because, you know, we did replace the filter and everything, so, you know, it kind of makes sense at 5 quarts. Now, after you initially put the transmission fluid in, you got to wait for it to run down too. It continues to run down onto that dipstick, and it'll give you false readings, so it needs to kind of be settled down in there a little bit too. So like I said, you need to have it hot, or you need to have it, you know, warmed up really good and drive it around when you're checking this, and check it with it running. So anyways, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. As always, I invite you to subscribe, and thanks for watching.